04:17 a.m. local time. Turkish coastal radar tracks routine patrol pattern. NATO frigate conducting freedom of navigation exercise in international waters, 70 kilometers from Crimean coast. Standard mission profile. Expected communications. Nothing indicates the next 90 seconds will change everything. The vessel is HMCS Halifax, Canadian Halifax-class frigate, with 218 personnel aboard. Sea state calm. Visibility good. Combat systems in monitoring mode. Then the signature appears. Anti-ship missile launch detection. Automatic warning axons activate across the ship. This is Global Conflict Room, where global war decisions are made. 04:18 a.m. Close-in weapon systems engage automatically. 3 seconds to impact. The Phalanx CIWS fires 4,500 rounds per minute. Radar tracking confirms incoming missile. Electronic warfare systems deploy countermeasures. The crew has no time for command authorization. Defense systems operate on pre-programmed response protocols. 2 missile fragments impact the forward superstructure. 1 penetrates the hull above the waterline. 14 sailors wounded. 3 critical. The ship maintains operational capability. Damage control teams respond immediately. Canadian command receives automated distress signal within 8 seconds of impact. 4:19 a.m. HMCS Halifax transmits engagement report. Attack originated from Crimean coastal battery. Missile type identified as modified KH-35. NATO communication networks light up. Supreme Allied Commander Europe receives notification. North Atlantic Council emergency protocols activate. Turkish Naval Command confirms radar tracking of launch trajectory. The attack occurred in international waters during authorized NATO operation. Article 5 consultations begin within 4 minutes of impact. Every alliance member receives identical briefing package. What should command do first? A. Intercept. B. Strike back. C. Hold fire. The decision framework differs fundamentally from peacetime military operations. Article 5 of NATO Treaty considers armed attack against one member as attack against all. The alliance has never invoked Article 5 for combat engagement with peer military power. Consultation procedures require consensus among 32 member states. Wargame simulations never adequately modeled compressed decision timeline for great power conflict, triggered by single tactical engagement. Global Conflict Room analysts assess the incident as deliberate provocation testing alliance, cohesion under crisis conditions. 04:27 a.m. Brussels time. NATO headquarters convenes emergency session. Military committee assembles via secure video conference. Secretary General initiates Article 5 consultation procedures. Initial assessment confirms attack against alliance vessel in international waters. Member state representatives receive orders from national capitals. The discussion must balance immediate military response against escalation management. Consensus requirement creates tension between rapid response capability and alliance unity. Some members advocate immediate retaliatory strike. Others push for diplomatic engagement before military action. What happens next determines the next decade. 04:31 a.m. Washington time. White House Situation Room activates crisis protocols. President receives briefing on Black Sea incident. Joint Chiefs present response options. Option 1. Position additional naval assets for defense, but hold fire pending diplomatic resolution. Option 2. Conduct limited retaliatory strike against launch site to establish deterrence. Option 3. Implement comprehensive suppression of Crimean coastal defense network. Each option carries distinct escalation risk. Defensive posture might signal weakness, inviting further attacks. Limited strike could trigger broader engagement. Comprehensive attacks guarantees full-scale combat operations. The President authorizes positioning of strike assets, while diplomatic channels remain open. 05:02 a.m. Black Sea. USS Porter, Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, moves to support position near HMCS Halifax. The destroyer carries Tomahawk cruise missiles and advanced air defense systems. Turkish F-16 squadrons increase combat air patrol over Black Sea approaches. Romanian air defense batteries achieve firing readiness. Bulgarian coastal radar intensifies monitoring. The NATO response demonstrates collective defense capability without initiating offensive operations. Russian military forces detect the repositioning. Southern Military District places units on enhanced alert status. 0:06 parts, 15 a.m. Moscow time. Russian Defense Ministry issues statement. The communication claims NATO vessel approached territorial waters despite warnings. Missile launch characterized as defensive action, protecting sovereign territory. International law cited regarding territorial sea boundaries. The statement contains no acknowledgement of international water status where attack occurred. NATO intelligence assesses messaging as intended for domestic audience rather than serious diplomatic communication. Global Conflict Room tracks parallel developments across multiple domains. ZO 744 Secretary, North Atlantic Council Chamber. Emergency session reaches critical decision point. Canada invokes Article 5, formally requesting alliance support. Military Committee presents unified assessment confirming unprovoked attack. 3 response packages await approval. Package 1. Enhanced defensive posture with no offensive action. Package 2. Time-limited retaliatory strike against specific military target. Package 3. Sustained campaign against full range of threatening systems. Member state positions divide along predictable patterns. Eastern European members advocate strong military response. Western European states emphasize diplomatic resolution. The United States position carries decisive weight for building consensus, necessary deterrence, or dangerous escalation. The philosophical question becomes operational reality in real-time decision-making. Deterrence theory suggests measured response to aggression prevents future attacks by demonstrating cost of hostile action. Critics warn that military retaliation against nuclear-armed opponent creates escalation spiral with catastrophic potential. The Black Sea incident tests whether NATO can maintain credible deterrence posture while managing great power competition in constrained geographic space. Alliance credibility depends on response to direct attack against member forces. 9:20 a.m. Brussels time. North Atlantic Council reaches consensus decision. NATO will conduct limited retaliatory strike against confirmed launch site in Crimea. The operation will employ precision-guided munitions to minimize collateral damage. Timing coordinated to allow evacuation of non-essential personnel. Diplomatic communication transmitted to Moscow outlining scope and limitation of response. The message emphasizes defensive nature while confirming alliance unity. Strike authorization includes strict rules of engagement, prohibiting expansion beyond designated target. Which system activates first in a missile alert? A. Radar. B. Satellites. C. Command link. Modern integrated air defense operates across multiple sensor networks simultaneously. Space-based infrared systems detect launch signatures. Ground radar tracks trajectories. Shipboard sensors provide point defense. Command networks integrate data for engagement decisions. The system's redundancy ensures no single point of failure. Speed of response determines survival in modern naval combat. HMCS Halifax survived because automated defenses engaged without waiting for human authorization. The incident demonstrates compressed decision timelines in modern warfare where humans program responses but cannot react fast enough during actual engagement. 10:47 a.m. Eastern Mediterranean. USS Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group receives mission orders. FA-18 Super Hornets arm with precision-guided weapons. Mission planning targets coastal missile battery confirmed as launch site. Flight time to target calculated at 42 minutes. Romanian airspace authorized for ingress routing. Electronic warfare aircraft prepare suppression packages. Aerial refueling positioned for extended operations. The strike package represents measured response calibrated to demonstrate capability without triggering broader escalation. Global conflict room monitors reaction across multiple theaters. 11:15 a.m. Moscow time. Russian leadership convenes Security Council session. Military intelligence confirms NATO strike preparations. Defense Ministry recommends counter-response measures. Strategic rocket forces increase readiness status. Nuclear-capable Iskander missiles in Kaliningrad Oblast prepare for potential firing missions. Submarine forces receive updated targeting data. The escalation follows established doctrine for responding to strikes against Russian-controlled territory. American intelligence detects the preparations within minutes. Washington communicates directly with Moscow, emphasizing limited nature of planned operation and commitment to de-escalation afterward. The back-channel messaging attempts to establish boundaries, preventing spiral into full-scale conflict. 13:33 p.m. Black Sea time. 4 F-A-18 Super Hornets cross into Ukrainian airspace. Romanian air defense coordination enables safe passage. Electronic warfare systems suppress remaining coastal radar. Mission commander confirms target identification. 2 aircraft employ laser-guided bombs against missile battery position. Explosions destroy 3 launch vehicles and command trailer. Secondary explosions indicate ammunition storage hit. Satellite reconnaissance confirms target destruction. Mission duration 8 minutes from weapons release to egress. 0 casualties among NATO forces. Russian military reports 17 personnel wounded at strike site. If you follow global conflict analysis, type GCR. 13:41 p.m. immediate aftermath. Russian air defense systems track NATO aircraft departure. Fighter scramble orders issued, but aircraft already exited engagement range. Southern Military District requests authorization for counterstrike. Moscow leadership debates response options. Military commanders advocate immediate retaliation to maintain credibility. Political advisors warn of escalation beyond control. The decision sits with executive authority, balancing domestic political pressure against strategic calculation. NATO forces maintain elevated alert status, awaiting Russian response. Carrier strike group positions for defense against potential counterattack. Air defense systems cover withdrawal routes. Diplomatic channels remain active with continuous communication between capitals. 14:20 p.m. Moscow announcement. Russian government issues formal protest. Strike characterized as act of aggression against sovereign territory. International law violations cited. Warning issued against future NATO operations near Russian borders. Notably absent, announcement of military retaliation. The response stays within diplomatic domain, rather than triggering kinetic counterstrike. Western intelligence assesses decision as strategic restraint, recognizing escalation risks. Global conflict room analysts note careful calibration on both sides, limiting engagement scope. 16:05 p.m. North Atlantic Council session. Secretary General briefs members on completed operation and Russian response. Military assessment confirms limited objectives achieved without broader combat. Consensus emerges on maintaining enhanced defensive posture while pursuing diplomatic de-escalation. Communication transmitted to Moscow, proposing high-level talks on Black Sea operational procedures. The message aims to establish protocols preventing future incidents. Canadian government announces HMCS Halifax returning to port for repairs. 14 wounded sailors receiving medical treatment. Ship sustained damage, but remains operational. National leadership emphasizes proportionate response to unprovoked attack. Alliance unity demonstrated through collective action. International reaction divides along predictable patterns. Western governments support NATO response as legitimate defense. Russian allies condemn strike as escalatory aggression. Non-aligned states express concern over great power, military engagement. 19:47 p.m. Brussels time. Military committee conducts preliminary assessment. Black Sea incident reveals vulnerabilities in NATO maritime operations near contested waters. Enhanced rules of engagement recommended for future patrols. Improved coordination procedures developed for rapid response situations. Intelligence sharing protocols strengthened. The operational lessons feed into alliance planning for great power competition in constrained geographic spaces. Strategic analysts debate broader implications. Does measured response successfully establish deterrence or invite further probing attacks? Can NATO maintain credible defense posture in Black Sea without permanent escalation risk? How do alliance consensus requirements affect response speed in compressed decision timelines? What decision would you make in that room? The Black Sea scenario demonstrates the razor-thin margin between tactical incident and strategic catastrophe. Single missile launch by tactical commander triggers alliance-level response procedures. Compressed timelines force decisions with incomplete information. Rules of engagement balance defensive necessity against escalation management. The scenario reveals how modern warfare compresses decision space, where automated systems respond faster than humans can process information, and where alliance consultation requirements conflict with military response timelines. Was escalation avoidable? Could different operational procedures prevent the initial attack? Should NATO maintain maritime presence in contested waters despite incident risk? Who bears responsibility when tactical engagement triggers strategic crisis? The incident shows that modern conflict between great powers begins with localized tactical actions that force strategic responses before de-escalation opportunities emerge. Subscribe to Global Conflict Room, inside the room where history changes.